Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Doctor's Clinic, where the world, it really is your waiting room. And the truth is, they're waiting on you. However, they're not waiting on Dr. Kurt Fisnick because he is in the house. He is fired up and focused. Some might even say red hot and ready. He's just on a mission, absolutely on a mission. And the mission started this year when he looked at his own health and said, I can take it to another level, and he did it. And now he's bringing a lot of us along with him on really focusing on what's going on with our health and where we're at. Kurt Fisnick, good morning. You've got one of my favorite topics ever, and I'll give you a couple testimonies later as to results. And my friend, we appreciate you. And Dr. Kurt Fisnick, everybody, he is our resident doctor to all the people in the field. And Doc, welcome to the call.
Well, thanks for the introduction, and DW, thanks for having me on the call. I just really enjoyed doing this call. We've been doing it this summer. It'll be 2 years, right?
I believe we're approaching 2 years in about 37 days.
Yeah, and everything's been recorded, so anybody that wants to go catch a previous episode from way back when, 2 years ago, you can go into the siseldoctorclinic.com website, and they're all itemized there, so you can see what they are. But I try and find what's the hot topic, what's going on, and that's how I kind of pick what we're going to talk about. And some days like today, it was 7 o'clock this morning, I decided what we're going to talk about. And DW and I, we don't have this thing scripted at all, and we just, I send them a message sometimes 5 minutes before the call, and I say, here's what we're talking about, be ready. But, as we move into summer, a lot of people will be hanging out on the deck, they'll be hanging out at the lake, they'll be out on the boat, they'll be on the beach, they'll be fishing, they'll be doing this and that, and everybody packs a cooler. And in that cooler, they throw in the soda, they throw in, all these different sugary drinks and, along with some other adult beverages, but they're throwing in all these sugary drinks and all that to take with them. And I just, I decided, what a great topic to talk about today. What do you think about that, DW? That's how I decided.
Well, I'm just telling you, I love how you decided, but I also love the topic because I think it's one of the number one destroyers of the beginning of the end to the breakdown of the body. It really is. And you'll hear, like we heard earlier, Greg Durfee talk about, people are absolutely 100% addicted. I mean, just totally, completely addicted. And a lot of stuff that you're going to get into today is even they're linking some dementia and Alzheimer's to it as well, and especially the soda pop area. But Doc, I love what you, and you're not just talking about soda pops. You're talking about sugary drinks, period, and carbonation,
exactly.
along with the sugar, along with even the stuff that's even worse, which is the amped up, quote unquote, wannabe fake sugar. And your body can't simulate even what's going on with that. And so it is messing up the hormone insulin and everything else. So I love it, Doc. I'm just saying. I mean, you're spot on,
You
bro.
bet. Well, and the whole thing is that, a lot of people, they think, well, it's sold in the grocery store. It's got to be safe. It can't be all that bad. But if you take a look and you go back, 100 or so years ago, I don't know exactly the year, but 100 or so years ago, the average person consumed 12 pounds of sugar a year, 12 pounds. And that seems like a lot. I think about that and I go, holy cow, that's a lot of sugar, 12 pounds. But in today's world, we're consuming over 150 pounds of sugar per person in America. That's a lot of sugar. And when I talk about sugar, it's not just cane sugar. I mean, we've got all sorts of sugar now. We've got cane sugar, we've got corn syrup, we've got high fructose corn syrup, we've got the sugar that comes from sugar beets, we've got all these sweeteners, and now they're going to take some of the alternative sweeteners and they're just going to call them sugar as well. They're just throwing it all in the same category, and it's dangerous. I quit drinking soda. This will be my 8th year. Later this year, it'll be 8 years I've gone without a soda. And that was because I read a report that came up that said that if you drink just 2 cans of soda a week, it increases your risk of pancreatic cancer by 80%. And at that time, I was working with a buddy of mine who had pancreatic cancer, and I was watching him go through that. And I said, not for me. Not for me. I don't want that at all. And I remember, when I was in college, I mean, man, my roommate and I mean, we drank so much Mountain Dew. I mean, holy cow! I remember throwing those empty cans out, and we drank a lot of it. And I watched these kids, and they're sipping on Mountain Dew for breakfast. When they leave the house, they're running out to the bus with a can of Mountain Dew or one of those bottles of Mountain Dew. And they're not just little 8-ounce bottles like they used to be when we were kids. Now they're running out with a big old 20-ounce bottles of this stuff, and they're going to when they stop at the 7-Eleven, they're picking up the big burpee or whatever they call that with the filled 64-ounce drink, and they're drinking all that sugar, and what's it doing to the body? And think about it. DW and I have talked about this on the call before, but think about if you take and let's say you get some lead in your body. What does the body do with the lead? Well, lead is a fat-soluble toxin, and so it gets deposited in a fat cell because the innate system, your built-in protective system, says that's a good, safe place to hide it. We can hide it over there in that fat cell, and then what it does, based on things that we know, is it dilutes it out. It dilutes it out with water. And so it swells up the fat cell just a little bit, but that way it keeps it kind of safe and out of the way. Well, that's what it does with toxins, pesticides, herbicides, heavy metals, lead, mercury, aluminum, all these different things. That's what it's doing with it. Well, guess what happens with sugar? Sugar is handled the same way. When you get exposed to sugar, and sugar is a toxin, where's it stored? It's stored in a fat cell, just like lead, just like pesticides, just like, Roundup, the glyphosate, any of those things. They're stored in a fat cell, and then the body dilutes them out. Well, what that's going to do is that's going to cause problems with blood pressure. It's going to cause problems with cholesterol. It's going to eventually lead to congestive heart failure, which, I don't know anybody that wants that. And so that's why you really have to watch it. And a friend of mine actually blocked me on Facebook the other day because she was going on my page and ambushing some of my people and just saying, oh no, you need to go on a total fruit diet. And I said no, you can't say that, because if somebody is pre-diabetic, which I just reported on Facebook last night, I believe it was 47% of Californians are either pre-diabetic or undiagnosed diabetic, type 2 diabetes. If you give them a diet that's totally fruit-based, which is what she's pushing everybody to do, it raises the fructose. Well, fructose is just as dangerous as glucose. And the body can, actually in some cases it can be worse than glucose, and so the body handles it in a way that's not good. And I've been trying to tell her that don't throw that out there at everybody. Some people, a fruit diet is great, but not for everybody. And in most cases, my buddy from the Steve Miller Band, he taught me everything in moderation, even moderation. What do you think of that, DW?
I think that is everything in moderation is absolutely awesome. And I, first of all, just want to honor and commend you for 8 years off soda pop. Are you kidding me already? I mean, most people can't be 8 minutes from it. And so I love where we're at with this. We can make a difference. I mean, just that one simple move right there, and can make a massive, massive difference. So let me ask you this real quick: what's the top 3 worst things in our sugary drinks?
Well, I don't even know what the top sugary drinks are. I couldn't even answer that question. There's so many of them out there now that just, mega doses of sugar. I mean, I know years ago Mountain Dew used to be one of the worst ones. But even when you look at the man-made sugars, the NutraSweets, all those types of things, the sucrose, those are actually worse because, like DW said earlier, the body doesn't even know how to handle those. I mean, they're just pure toxic. And so don't fall for the old, diet soda type of a thing, and they put that not just in drinks and food. Now they've started to put that junk in your toothpaste and in healthcare products and medicine. So you gotta kind of be aware. You almost got to become a scientist in order to know where they're hiding this stuff. So be really careful with that. But, DW, the one thing that I really wanted to get into, we can sit here and we can go on and on and on about the dangers of sugar, and everybody knows that. I mean, if you don't know it, slap yourself in the face and wake up, because you should get to know it. And was that a slap in your face?
Sorry, Doc. That is so funny because, I mean, seriously, I mean, you'd be shocked when it comes to added sweeteners and all that. Really, people aren't as educated as what we think they are. They think it's safe because it's not sugar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm telling you straight up the truth. I mean, a lot of people just don't realize, the added extra stuff. They get away from sugar and they go into these, Splendids and all that kind of stuff, and Equal. And I don't know if we're supposed to be mentioning these names, but doggone it, they're very damaging. Even what it does. But so that's all I wanted to say. But you made me laugh. I'm sorry about that.
I thought I heard a noise. It was you slapping yourself in the face.
I probably should.
But, Greg Durfee was on the call this morning on the wake-up call, and he was talking about how he started using, the fire and iced tea, and all of a sudden his craving for sugars went down. I just ordered 3 boxes for a friend of mine. He trains my dog. He works with my dog. And he says as long as he's got the fire and ice around his house, he never drinks a soda. He doesn't crave it, and that's because the fire and ice tea is it's got ingredients that are low glycemic. It's got ingredients that kind of cut the cravings out, and it's healthy for you. It uses pomegranate juice, and it uses agave, which is and the thing about that is people say, well, isn't that high in fructose? And I say it is, but the thing about it is that agave is so super sweet that you barely have to use any. You just put like a little tiny drop in there, and you're gonna get the equivalent sweetness of using a ton of sugar. And so that's one of the reasons that you'll see some people use the agave nectar as a sweetener, and rather than using sugar. And then we have stevia in there as well. I guess that's the Splash that has that, right? The Splash. And so I kind of jumped off track there. Start talking about 2 products getting mixed up, DW. I think I need my brain vitality.
Imagine that. Very seldom happens.
But, so talking about the fire and ice, yeah, it uses pomegranate, and then it uses some low glycemic type of ingredients that actually thermogenic in it. It makes it so you burn fat, and it gets rid of that craving. And DW, tell us a little bit more about the fire and ice. I know you're kind of a local expert on that product.
Well, I mean, it's just without getting into to massive. Let's go through each ingredient. But one of the first things, it's designed and set up for low glycemic, and a lot of people know about it. And a lot of people we think know about it, and they just don't. Doc, it's amazing. You and I, what we think people know, they might have heard it, but they don't know it yet. In other words, they haven't discovered it for their own personal self. But low glycemic eating and low glycemic foods are things that bring down and take down your your sugar levels, your insulin levels. And there's things you can eat that spike them. It's like what you were saying. If someone's pre-diabetic and they're going to go eat bowls and bowls and bowls and bowls of fruit, I mean, and they're going to go on a total complete fruit cleanse diet type thing, they're asking for trouble because that'll spike your sugar levels. And, and so the low glycemic, what it does, it helps burn fat too. And you and I both know that when it comes to sugar and stuff, what it turns into eventually petrified fat, which is, I'm not talking about petrified, but I'm talking about petrified fat. There we go. Get it out. And and so, it does it. Now, also, the fire and iced tea has energy with it. It's a drink replacement for a diet health conscious individual consumer. when you can mix it 18 to 16 ounces of water. And we like the 8 ounces. We like throwing an ice cube in it, shaking it until the ice cube melts, and slam it. It is not iced tea. If you're wanting this Southern iced tea drink, sorry about your luck. It's not quite going to be like that. And Greg's on the call today with us here right now. But with that said, Doc, he's had a lot of success, was absolutely addicted. What do you say, 2-liter bottle of soda pop a day for 30-some years. And, he was very consistent in slamming soda. He was addicted. And the Fire and Ice, he started slamming it. And so it's made a big difference. Another thing about it is it supports the body's thermogenics and the thermogenic capabilities of the body. It uniquely enhances the ability to burn fat, not just burn fat, but do something kind of unique. And it'll help you store some energy. It kind of like gives you sustained energy or stored energy that is released as needed, so your body can call for it. It's low in calories and contains no artificial sweeteners, which is kind of pretty cool when you begin to break it down. But we love the thermogenics of it. Love the fact that it's low glycemic. We love the fact that it's fat burning. And we love the fact that it energizes. It's an energizing, they call it a tea because it has a little bit of a peach flavor, which some taste and some people don't taste. So, Doc, does that help you to go over the Fire and Ice tea? I tell you what, we start our morning off with it every single morning. It has the capability to kind of waken up the brain somehow. I'm not sure exactly what ingredient in there that wakes up the brain, but everyone I talk to, they just say, man, it gets rid of the fuzzy in the morning. It kind of wakes them up. Miss Helen loves the Fire and Ice tea. And just recently, we're working on getting a little healthier, and she's been giving us a second dose of it each day in the afternoon around 2 o'clock when you kind of might feel a little lethargic. And it just kind of spiffs us up a little bit and keeps us on track. So I will tell you this. I think you get like 50 packs in a box, and you can pay 30% more if you choose to, but and if you choose to do that, it's probably a $60 for 50 packs, or if you want to pay a little bit less than that, and you can get with the person that brought you, but you can get it as much as $50. That can last someone over a month, and then you have 20 extra packs for a day that you want to do 2 for challenging days. So it is a game changer when it comes to burning fat and getting healthy by getting sugar out and fat off, and I can't say enough about the low glycemic part of it. That is ginormous, the energy. Back at you, Dr. Kurt.
You bet. Well, one of the things that DW didn't say, and I think this is probably the best thing, is that it tastes good. It has an awesome taste because,
there's one more, Doc, real quick, one more thing I wanted to add. I had to interrupt you. The taste is impeccable. It absolutely tastes marvelous. I wanted to make sure I got that in there.
Because that's the most important thing. Because if it tastes crappy, guess who's not going to drink it?
You won't drink it, and it does taste good. And, okay, next testimony real quick. Daughter, Daisha Jean, second daughter, was addicted to Dr. Peppers. And, literally addicted to Dr. Peppers. She came to me and she had tears in her eyes. Dad, I can't get away from Pop. And she goes, I'm getting chubbier, and I don't want to be chubbier. I'm getting fluffier, and I want to be fluffy. And she goes, I can't get away from it. So I did 2 things. I said, you stay off Pop for an entire year, and we replaced it immediately with Fire and Ice tea. And, and obviously she was doing the Triangle and other products as well. And I said, you stay off it for a complete year, we will give you $1,000 cash. So she had a financial incentive and she had a health incentive. And she's probably on her 2nd year now. And she chose not to take the cash. She chose to take products instead of the cash. That's how big of an impact the Sisel products made on her. What gal in their late 20s with 2 kids is going to turn away $1,000 cash? A gal that walks with wisdom, a woman that walks with wisdom and realizes the power of the products versus what cash can do. So I thought that she turned her cash into ordering more products, and so we ordered products for her. So, Doc, is that kind of a cool testimony as well, right along with Greg? So it's personally in our Sisel family and with Daisha Jean. You haven't got to meet her yet, but you will. Back at you, Doc.
Yeah. Well, and so we've covered the Fire and Ice. The other product that Sisel has is called Splash. And DW, I love that product. I mean, I used to order it by the case when my kids were here, and I'd have to hide it from them because they'd go and drink it. They drink 2 or 3 of them one after another, and I'm like, hold it. I said, unless you guys want to start giving me some money there, I said that's not for your consumption. That's mine. You ever have that problem?
You talking about family raiding the fridge? You better believe it. Your product shelf, you better believe it, because it happens. I mean, they think that all the resources of the house are their resources, and the truth is it really is. But Splash is another game changer. What are you going to tell us about Splash, Doc?
Well, so what I was going to say about it, and I kind of started mixing Fire and Ice and Splash together, but the Splash, it's got a dose of resveratrol into purified water, and we've talked about this in the past on the calls. Tom was a water chemist prior to opening up Sisel, and so he's got a water system that comes into the factory there that is that's second to none. City and municipality water systems come there just to study his water system, because he can change the pH of the water. He can change the alkalinity of the water by adding different minerals, by changing that with a reverse osmosis. I think it's like a 7 or 8 reverse osmosis system, and so he can have the most purified water, and that makes a difference when you're making drinks like this, because now you add the resveratrol to it, and what it does, it makes it so it blends into the water better by having that pH properly balanced like that. And so you're getting a full dose of resveratrol in every one of these. And here's where he uses, I was talking a little bit about the agave nectar. And so the agave nectar, again, like I was saying earlier, it's sweeter than sugar and honey and all that, and so you don't have to use very much, and so that's what makes it a really good sweetener in some cases. I mean, you don't want to go out and eat a gallon of it, because it is really high, in the fructose. But that's what we use in the Splash, and because we use so very little, it's got really low calories, and it's just a great, refreshing drink to have in the summer. And sometimes, the Fire and Ice, because of the caffeine that's in there, you can only have so many of them a day. And with the Splash, there is no caffeine, and that resveratrol, well, we know what that'll do. I mean, it's good for the cardiovascular system. It's good for the heart. It's also anti-angiogenic, which means that resveratrol, based on the studies that are out there, it'll cut off the blood supply to tumors. So here's something that you can drink, and it fits in the category of a health drink. It tastes great, and it's a health drink. And so now with summer coming, I mean, just imagine going to the lake and having a cooler full of Splash and Fire and Ice tea. Doesn't that make it sound a lot better, DW?
It makes it sound great. And a couple things about the Splash. It's one of the components that keeps people hydrated, and also assists and helps with weight health as well. And so not just losing weight, but weight health. You want to weigh the proper weight. You don't want to just lose weight. Anybody can lose weight, but you want to have the right weight. And it helps bring that in there. So, but dehydration, I mean, it's amazing how many people are dehydrated and they're not aware of it. Headaches and so on and so forth, and certain pains and aches in the body. So another thing people do, Doc, I don't know if you're going to mention it or not, but I'm going to throw it out here, and if you are, we can jump into it. A lot of people will drink about a little bit of Splash, and then they'll pour the Ultramax in it, and sometimes they'll even go ahead and add a full dose of the Spectramax, which is in our Triangle of Life, and they pour that in there for a 2 or 3 hour sip-on nutritional drink. But the Splash contains 0 calories, 0 artificial sweeteners, additives. There's no additives. There's no colors. I mean, a lot of these drinks Doc's talking about, what he calls sweet drinks or drinks with just sugar. The sugar's one thing, and then you add the coloring, and then you add the artificial junk and the artificial coloring. Now you're absolutely messing with the molecular structure of the body and the cells, and this product has 0 of that in there. I mean, it is huge. Well, I got introduced to the product because when we took a busload of people We took 50-some people on a bus from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, a bunch of Amish buddies, and English as well, and we took that bus trip all the way out to Utah. Well, the company sent us massive cases of Splash and Ultramax for the trip. And I am telling you, when we got off that trip, everybody was like, wow. And the bus driver was like, I don't care what we do, give me some Ultramax and Splash, because it hydrated their body. You know, it has real pomegranate. It has natural agave nectar, natural, you know, not this synthetic agave. Tom takes any kind of plant, whether it's a stevia plant or agave or whatever, and he extracts out of it the proper and best nutrients for the body. It leaves everything else. Other people might use the same stuff, Doc, but they throw the whole thing in there and just crunch it all up and bash it all up and put it in your body, and it's not good for you. Tom pulls out the good. So Sisel Splash will rehydrate your body with the crisp, sweet combination of pomegranate and natural agave nectar. So that's my thought on the Splash.
You bet. Well, and so, I mean, just in the last few minutes, one of the other drinks that I think a lot of people don't think about, I like making a little bit, like when I make a pot of coffee, I'll save what I don't drink. I put it in a mason jar, and I put that in the fridge. And then in the summertime, just like drinking iced tea, I'll have iced coffee, and I'll sit on the deck with a little bit of iced coffee, and holy cow, I mean, what a great drink. And again, you don't have to, well, I don't add any sugar, some people do, but I'll sit on the deck and I'll have some iced coffee as well, and I think it makes a great summer drink as well. And what's in there?
Well, a lot of people do that. So then you move into a great summer drink. And Chris in Miami and Laura Bacchini in California, they're going to love the fact that you're talking about a good summer drink as iced coffee. But this is what Miss Helen does for us a lot of times, and she can send you the recipe. She buys the blue guava from Costco, which Tom actually makes that. So it is a pure natural agave in there. And so she'll add a little bit of this, but she'll take, 5 bags, 6 bags? Tell me how many.
6 quarts?
Yeah, 6 quarts.
10.
Okay, she'll use the Sencha tea, about 10 packets of that, and then she fills it full of strawberries and orange slices as well, and then pineapple, and puts a little bit of agave in there, stirs it up, and then you just go throughout the day, and it could be a 2 or 3 day drink. But I am telling you, Doc, refreshing. Oh my goodness, we have buddies come over and they're like, "What in the world are you doing?" We're taking a beautiful, incredible, nutritional, that's healthy for your body drink, and instead of having there's a word. Instead of having a sugary drink, we have a nutritional drink that blows away, knocks the socks off any kind of sugary drink that's out there. And by the way, Doc, you're invited tomorrow night to come taste that, because she'll be doing it, not tomorrow night, Thursday night, right here in Denver at a Taste and Talk. So there you go.
If I can get a plane ticket, I can do that.
Okay, we'll get the ticket. Come on.
All right. Well, everyone, I'm looking at the time here, and we're just running out of time. I think we covered everything that we really wanted to cover. I mean, DW, is there anything that you wanted to add?
Well, just that you're absolutely spectacular, and what a fun call. I mean, and obviously, if you're listening to this call, someone must care about you. This call, and you're taking notes on this call. Someone cares. It's time to get healthy. So make smart choices. Walk away. Make a decision day to walk away from the sugary drinks that are devastating and disastrous and absolutely putting your body in a position to have a massive train wreck, and get into the drinks and the things and not substitute them out. Just get the junk out, put the good stuff in, and have a blast. Sisel offers you so many options, all the way from sipping a little Ultramax inside the Splash and taking a nice glass of hydrated water that we have and putting a Spectramax in it for a refreshing drink, to iced coffee in the afternoon, and to Sencha tea in the evening. So we've got it here for you. Fire and ice it up. That's it for the Doctor's Clinic. Thank you for being a part of it. Doc, any closing words?
Thanks for being here.
All right, everybody. Get this out. Share it with a few people. Replace your junky drinks for nutritional ones. That's it. Doctor's Clinic call. Over and out.